Information Center looks like at this moment. Everything is set. Okay, hear the background music, patriotic Ghanaian songs at the background. And it is a feeling to behold. So at the moment you can see that all eyes are on the EC and everybody is awaiting what the EC chairperson has to say. Even though Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has called former President John Mahama to concede defeat and congratulated him, the final declaration of results, presidential results, is to come from the Electoral Commission, and it is the returning officer, in this case is Madam Jean Mensah, who has the powers to declare the results. So we have a full house made up of dignitaries, election observers, representatives of the various political parties, and invited guests. In a few minutes, we will see the arrival of the EC chair and her deputy commissioners. You can hear right now, you can see the National Director of Election. He just exchanged dignitaries with some of the diplomats, and that is Dr. Omani Buama. He exchanged set for the final declaration of the 2024 presidential election results. And we will bring you all the pictures as and when it happens, right here on Ghana Television, GBC News, and all our affiliates.
So those were pictures from the Electoral Commission. Our correspondent, Okokwa Kutre, trying to bring us the mood at the headquarters of the EC. As she said, she is reliably informed that any moment from now, the chair of the Electoral Commission should be
the returning officer
should be addressing the media and certainly be announcing or declaring the results, which I mean everybody waits eagerly to hear. So not too long ago in those shots, I saw the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Madame Virginia Palmer. She's been, almost all over the place. Yesterday, I think she was in the Upper West region. I saw her somewhere around town not too long ago in the afternoon.
They are all observing our electoral processes and ensuring that we follow the due process, and we ensure that in all the processes, democracy is upheld. And because, I mean, these are countries that we have partnership with, we build strong partnerships with, and should anything go untoward or should anything be seen as undemocratic, it won't augur well for the image of the country or the partnership, because they don't deal with countries that do not subscribe to democracy. The U.S. High Commissioner was the UK High Commissioner was seated there, and I also saw the UK Commonwealth Observer Group also there, the chairperson, His Excellency Dr. Masisi, also in the guests, among the guests seated.
The UN resident coordinator for Ghana,
Charles Abani.
I mean, he was also there.
I mean, it's important for them to all be observing what we are doing in terms of democracy, because to them, democracy must be upheld no matter what, or at whatever point in time in our electoral process. Democracy, the voice of the people, must be upheld, and that's what they are keenly monitoring.
And proud to this election, the U.S. had issued a caution that if you are caught involved in promoting violence or engaging in same, you'll be denied access to go into the U.S. So I am thinking that they should be monitoring the situation.
They have their men on the ground.
To monitor the situation, so that those who are involved in fomenting this rounds of trouble, should face the consequences of that particular decision by the U.S. But I am particularly surprised and also excited that in the Boko area, where even before the election there was conflict, we've not had any incident of violence coming from the Boko area. I was very much concerned
during the electoral process
that the whole place was going to erupt because of the situation already in the Boko area.
Maybe
but so
because
far,
of the security presence there, because of what's happening, definitely security will be beefed up there. So I'm sure because of that, everybody was toeing to line and ensuring that they won't foment any form of violence.
Right, so those are pictures from the Electoral Commission.
Dr. Manibuama, right?
Dr. Manibuama. He is the director of elections and IT for the NDC. He's being very much, keen in monitoring the whole process and ensure that the NDC is not shortchanged in this whole process. We also saw the director of elections of the MPP not too long ago in the shots there. So those are pictures on your screen from the Electoral Commission, and giving the fact that everybody is seated. All those who matter, the invited guests are seated, and
all those with accreditation,
of course, and the room is packed. The media, taking position. Then it means that yes, the Electoral Commission, the chairperson, is coming to declare the results. And for me, the declaration should put to bed some of the pockets of violence we've seen. Even though, from what I have monitored, it does appear that the issue has to do with the parliamentary side of things. So in Okankwe
Central, Tema Central, Ablikuma North.
Right.
Yes, these are notable constituencies that the EC is yet to give certified results for who won in those constituencies. But I mean, from the just held the MPP press conference, they also cited Domiko Abenya, Okankwe and Ablikuma North, and Tema Central. They also cited in Sawama, Dwedri, Isuhum, Akwetia, Ahafo, Ano, East and South, Gushegu, Damongo, Alwyn, and a number of other constituencies whose results are being contested.
So in some of these constituencies, party faithful are preventing the Electoral Commission staff from adding some pink sheets that will form the full gamut of the figures. So they declare.
And some haven't been signed by the contending party.
Because they feel that these pink sheets have been tampered with. They feel the pink sheets are coming from outside the elections. And so they are trying to resist those ones. And until that is done, the Electoral Commission can declare who is the parliamentary or the MP elect of any constituency. You know. So for me, that's been the challenge. So we shouldn't be surprised after this election. There are going to be constituencies where two candidates hold themselves as winners of the race. And so we'll be seeing a lot more, cases going to court. Because and you also realize that we're having many issues in constituencies where the MPP feels entitled to. They feel that this is our stronghold. We are surprised that this should be happening. And so everybody is trying to ensure that the seats, is theirs. And that's the issue as we see it.
But to me, while it remains unclear who has won the seats, I'm concerned about the use of ammunition guns in those constituencies. We are being told that in the Okankwe, either Okankwe Central or Ablikuma Central, from Golda's report, that someone had been shot in the thigh, and we are also learning that apart from the two other people who were confirmed dead from Ewu to Senya East and the Nyankpala, we are also told that an EC official has been shot dead. And from the NDC's press conference this afternoon, the communications director, Sami Jemfi, also alleged that two of NDC supporters at Akumadan have been murdered in cold blood. We are unable to confirm those, but it means that it brings a number of the dead to 5. And that's quite worrying. In the last election, there were 8 deaths, and we are probably inching up to that number. And we were just hoping that we wouldn't even record any deaths at all.
And given the fact that violence continues in some constituencies, the number may go up, and that's worrying. This is an election.
It's not a do or die affair. It's just, some observers have said, see it as a game, exchange of ideas. It's not war. If you lose today, you have a chance to reclaim the seat in the next 4 years. So. But it's just about 4:45, or just past 4:45, and the EC is still not ready. We don't see the official seated yet, even though they promised that the declaration would start at 4:30 p.m. You anticipated that it may not start at 4:30 exactly, but we are hoping that maybe by 5 o'clock we'll see the official seated, and then the returning officer for the presidential elections would announce
who the president-elect is, although it's obvious to the nation who has won this election. But on our dashboard, I mean, we have 120 certified results. I mean, 120 certified results.
That's 108 constituencies.
Where's that? Because I see 120 of 276 constituencies certified in the
okay, for the presidential. Okay,
yes.
Okay. So
yes.
the parliamentary is 108.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't know if we would probably be updating our viewers.
Sure, we can do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
While we are with the EC officials.
So as we were told that the EC will do the declaration at 4:45. It's past at 4:30. It's past 4:30, and we're still waiting for the official declaration of the presidential results. Meanwhile, the AU Observer Mission, which has been monitoring the election process from across the 16 regions of Ghana, has released a preliminary statement or observation of the election as they monitored it. And so the mission, when it comes to election personnel and polling procedures, the mission noted that there was general uniformity in implementing prescribed procedures by polling officials who exhibited a high level of professionalism. A large percentage of polling personnel were women, and this is commendable according to the AU Observer team. The voters needed assistance in 80% of the polling stations visited, were provided necessary assistance by a person of their choice or a polling officer. When it comes to the observation on party agents and election observers, authorized personnel, including political parties and candidates, agents, as well as observers, were present in majority of the stations and were allowed to conduct their duties without restrictions. The mission noted that all party agents received a copy of the voter register and result sheets, further enhancing the transparency of the process. On security, the AU Commission or the AU Observer Mission says security personnel were present throughout the day and conducted themselves professionally. There were short queues outside most polling stations, and these remained generally peaceful and orderly. However, the mission noted some security incidents reported by the Ghana Police Service and commends their timely intervention. Additionally, some election officials in the Bono region were arrested for various electoral offenses. The mission notes with concern the reported shooting incident, which claimed the life of one citizen, and encourages the security agencies to continue to put in place measures to avert such incidents during such an important national process. On closing of the polls, there were no queues at most polling stations at the time of closing. However, voters who were on the queues at some of the stations were allowed to vote. Closing and counting took place in a peaceful, open and transparent atmosphere in the presence of voters, observers, party and candidate agents and media. Polling staff were generally competent in carrying out their duties. That's coming from the AU Observer Mission there. We still have on your screens pictures from the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. We wait eagerly and patiently to see Madame Jane Mensah, mount that particular podium and declare the result. Sarah, instructively,
why did they do like this?
All right, so we're still trying to, bring in you pictures from the Electoral Commission, awaiting the official declaration of the presidential results. Sarah, as I was saying that instructively, the observer missions, the AU, the ECOWAS, and the Commonwealth observer missions, have congratulated the president-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, which indicates that they are okay with how the process has been so far. Yeah. They are very much confident that these are the results.
Yes.
And nothing is going to change.
Yes.
Reason why they have even gone ahead to congratulate the president. So the declaration is going to be a formality which we all await.
A necessary formality, so to say. But I mean, in my interaction with some of the observer groups, they were confident in the democratic process so far that we've engaged in. They said, the Electoral Commission has readied itself to conduct a peaceful, credible and transparent election, and they also observed that there was no form of intimidation anywhere to compel people to vote in a particular manner. The election was freely conducted, and that's a plus to us. As for the pockets of violence, these are things that are expected, only that they wish it won't be escalated and degenerated into probably conflict or war. But I mean, on a large scale, generally, Ghana has performed creditably well.
I mean, certainly, Ghana is a shining example.
Yes.
Democracy, we've come to understand democracy, yes. And we are the envy of our West African neighbors, yes. And even beyond West Africa, across the globe. Yes. Those who will come to monitor an election in Ghana know that the process is going to be peaceful. Okay. So, in their concluding remarks, yeah, on that statement released by the AU Observer Mission, they commend the people of Ghana for their commitment to democratic principles, as evidenced by the peaceful conduct of the 7 December 2024 general elections. The overall electoral process, according to the statement, adhered to regional and international standards, reinforcing Ghana's democratic credentials, while the government and the people of Ghana and the Electoral Commission set high standards in management of electoral processes that other African Union member states should emulate. The mission offers some recommendations on areas that could be improved. So, I mean, the mission commending Ghana and also asking other African countries to emulate. We've seen a lot of African countries come to the Electoral Commission to learn and to, be trained on how they are able to do some of these. The former Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Afarijan, is like a consultant of a sort to a lot of African, yes, countries, trying to teach them how they are able to conduct very peaceful and transparent elections.
They didn't only just congratulate the former president for being the winner in this particular contest. They also congratulated Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia of the NPP. They lauded his action of conceding defeat early so that any forms of tensions in the country would be nipped in the bud. So they also congratulated him for conceding defeat and also for going further to exhibit exemplary leadership in the country. And it goes to add up to his credential as a peaceful candidate and a Democrat. He believes in the true tenets of democracy.
So they are making some few recommendations, and they are talking about in terms of political parties and how they should be organized and structured. They are calling for inclusivity. Yeah. They are saying that we should adopt a more inclusive approach through internal capacity building and civic education to nominate and support candidates from underrepresented groups, particularly women, youth, and PWDs. That reminds me of the former Minister for Chieftaincy, Dr. Dana, who was visually impaired. Yeah. It's been a while I heard about him. Yeah.
Well, I have no idea where he could be today, but maybe we'll find out, yes.
Right, so those are some of the, recommendations that they make. They talk about youth participation. They want Ghana to put in place measures to ensure that effective participation of youth who constitute most of the registered voters in order to encourage them to exercise their right to vote and select leaders of their choice. Yes. Some recommendations from the observer missions, monitoring the electoral process.
Yes, and as part of their recommendations too, I recall them saying that a lot of the voting or the polling stations were not accessible to persons with disability, and they would want going forward that improved or provisions made for persons with disability to be able to exercise their franchise since they are all citizens of the country. Yeah.
Right, so we're still waiting for the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Pictures there on your screens. Any moment from now, the Electoral Commissioner should be declaring the results. The last time I heard, they had results from 10 regions. I don't know if they've been able to collate.
Well, when the deputy chair in charge of operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, addressed the media earlier, he said they had 15 regions certified. So it was level 1.
Okay.
So he was sure that by 4:30 p.m., when the returning officer would be announcing who had won the election, they were sure they would have gotten all 16 regions. But even that, even without that particular region, the results they've received so far is glaring. It's showing a resounding victory for the NDC. So, I mean, nothing would change if the other region is pronounced later on. But we are also being told that during the EC's final declaration of the 2024 presidential election results, there will be a live feed of the President-elect John Mahama watching and following declaration available on all TV networks on outside broadcast channels. So we would probably be seeing former President Mahama monitoring the declaration of the results, he being pronounced.
That's interesting.
Yes.
And that's going to be live?
Yes, it's going to be live and available on all outside broadcast channels.
Wow.
So I'm sure we'll also pick the feed live. Maybe we'll split the screen and have him.
And this will be the first time.
Yes.
I've seen a president-elect, monitoring the declaration live. Also because of the time, yes, the space between when results were collated by the NDC and when the Electoral Commission is coming to declare the results. It's giving them a lot of time to decide to, do a live broadcast.
This particular election has had a lot of first-time things. I mean, things that were never done.
Yeah.
I mean, unprecedented. I mean, the EC conducting a 3-hourly press conference to update the country about what's going on in terms of collation of results, or how some events are being addressed either by the EC or the security agents. We also have, I mean, the National Security, Election Security Task Force also updating us regularly about how they are nibbing pockets of violence in the mud, and arrests made and all that. So, I mean, this particular election is a demonstration that we've actually improved in our democratic processes, you know, which used not to be.
Sarah, I can't wait to see the transition process start.
Yes.
And some of the drama that usually comes with transitions. And I also can see the new government, you know, sworn into office, and see exactly what they will be doing to address the concerns of many Ghanaians, especially the youth.
Yes. For them, bread and butter issues.
Certainly, certainly. I mean, topical is the cost of living,
yes.
Unemployment.
Yes.
I can't wait to see what the new government, you know, will be doing. I also can't wait to see the appointments being made, and who is going to be, you know,
occupying which position.
Which position.
And I mean, we are also being told the NDC will be running a lean government. So we want to see which
so he has promised to do 60 ministers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which ministries will be merged into one, and who will be occupying them, and if those
I know certainly the Ministry of Fisheries would be merged with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay.
Under the former president Tata Mills. I mean, that was a structure.
Okay.
It was merged. I mean, even under Mr. Mahama, it was, you know, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture.
But I mean, I doubt that, because I'm told in the former NDC administration there was a university set up purposely for fisheries studies in Cape Coast. So I don't know whether they will rather merge it, or they will make it a standalone ministries once we have a university allocated to that.
No, I mean, for me, that's a very easy one to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Ministry of Fisheries, Aquaculture, you know, merged with the Ministry of Agriculture, and then even under Mahama, we had the Ministry of Transport. Okay, now so the MPP created a Ministry of Aviation,
yes,
which they collapsed.
Yes.
So yes, there's going to be the Ministry of Transport.
Yes.
Yeah.
But speaking of transition, I mean, we had the Vice President and the NPP presidential candidates assuring the entire nation of a peaceful transition. They cooperating with the new governments or the incoming administration to ensure that there's a smooth transition process within the next 28 days or so, when the next administration will be sworn into office. So we are sure that the drama that has been associated with transition periods would probably not be what we would see this time around.
No, the drama is drama. Yes, I mean, there's going to be cooperation, yes, but we're going to be hearing a lot of stories.
Yes.
You know, there's going to be a lot of stories. Oh, this person, you know, did this, the other person did that. You know, we are not getting some documents from here, there, and what have you. I mean, the beauty of it, for some of us, maybe students of Ghanaian politics, you're very much interested. You want to know how the whole process will go. So.
But speaking of what you want to see in the next couple of months when the new administration is sworn into office, I mean, key on the agenda is to recover all loots that they allege has been ongoing in this particular administration, because I mean the country as it is now is bankrupt. If they don't recover those loans, they won't be able to undertake a number of developmental projects. So those are the things we are going to be seeing. We are going to be seeing a lot of courts people summoned at the court or summoned to the court to ensure that if there's proof of any money looted, they will be made to pay or face the full rigors of the law. So I'm sure that within the next few months or the next NDC's administration, we'll be seeing a lot of, some would say witch hunting, but if the OSP proves that there's a case against you, would that be classified as witch hunting?
I mean, it usually depends on who is feeling the heat,
yes,
and how they want to describe what's happening. Yes. So I mean, those are, political, issues.
But do you think the youth, as we see today, I mean, the results we are seeing today is a testament of the how fed up the youth are. I mean, bread and butter issues have always been a concern for the youth. I mean, do you think that the youth will be patient enough for the NDC to probably, I mean, in its agenda, it says they want to reset the economy. Do you think they will be patient enough in this resetting process?
I mean, certainly. As you may be aware already, we have some few economic challenges. And so certainly the economy would have to rebound.
Yes.
So the process of restoring macroeconomic stability must begin. Then we begin to enjoy the dividends of that particular economic recovery. As we speak, inflation is still high.
Yes.
The exchange rate's very high, and particularly the exchange rate affects a lot of things. It's one of the reasons why the cost of living is high. It is one of the factors pushing inflation. Okay. So we talk about imported inflation. We also talk about food inflation, and food inflation also partly driven by the exchange rate, because fuel is imported in dollars.
Okay.
And so that has an effect on the pricing at the pump. Okay. Fuel prices or crude oil prices are beginning to come down on the international market, around $60 per barrel.
But is it reflecting at the pump?
The reason it is not reflecting is because the exchange rate is still high. Okay. And because you need dollars to buy crude, and because the rate is high, it affects the price at the pump. So some of these things, before the economy, rebounds, some of these things must be dealt with. Then we'll begin to enjoy the dividends thereof. So at this point, answering your question, will the youth be patient? They will have no option but to be patient for the economy to rebound. Already, we've seen some gains. We've seen some gains. Inflation, even though in the last couple of months, is gone up, but generally inflation has trended down. Okay. Somewhere in 2022, we're doing 54.2% of inflation. We are now in the regions of 23.3%.
Okay.
So we're seeing the economy see some level of a rebound, especially because we are done with the debt exchange program, the domestic debt exchange program, and then we are also almost done with the with the international domestic exchange, international debt exchange program as well. That is beginning to give the government some fiscal space, even though as we speak, we're doing much of our borrowing from the domestic market because we don't have access to the international market. There's been some level of recovery in the economy. Even the cedi itself, even though the rate is still high, if you check the Bank of Ghana, is around 15, 16 cedis to the dollar. But then for the past month or so, there's been some relative stability. So the economy must respond. And then we'll begin to see some job, creation. And it will depend on some of the policies and the strategies that the new government will put in place. That will help speed up the recovery process of the economy, so that we can feel some ease.
As much as we are being told that some infrastructural projects that were stalled would be continued or others will be started, I'm just hoping that any other infrastructural project that have begun in this administration will be continued, like the Agenda 111 hospitals being built. I'm just hoping that they don't become another case of stalled projects. I would want to see expansion of hospitals in Accra, where for instance, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital they were supposed to have the phase 2 built by now, but it hasn't happened. So I'm just expecting that since the previous NDC administration started that project, we would probably see the phase 2 of it in this particular or for the next NDC administration. I'm also expecting that other amenities or infrastructural projects such as schools would also be completed. We just need to stop the cycle of this was not started by my administration, so I wouldn't pay attention to it. So I just want to see a new NDC government continue with projects that we've started with our own hard-earned money or borrowed monies, for which reason we are in high debt. Speaking of debts, at a point we were told, in the layman's terms, we were told that if they divided Ghana's debt by the number of citizens, we would all be owing about, was it 20 million old CDs? Or if you could just explain the dynamics of Ghana's debt level as it stands now to me. Viewers would also appreciate, and also the NDC. Okay, so I think we are having some developments from the EC. We have the Deputy Director of Elections, Mr. Tete.
Fred Tete.
Yes.
The final presidential election results sheet. The reps of the candidates who have been with us throughout the past 2.5 days, authenticating the individual results, are now appending their signatures to the final results to be declared. As you see them, they are coming in turns in order of appearance on the ballot paper. And it is the same way that the results sheet has been structured. At the moment, is a turn of Ghana Union Movement rep endorsing the Form 13 on behalf of his party. Thank you very much.
All right, so there we have it in your shots. The various political parties, representatives signing the pink sheets, the final results before the Electoral Commissioner, comes to do the declaration. So it does appear the declaration is not going to be anytime soon, because they are now endorsing the figures before she comes to declare.
Oh, on the contrary, because we've had a number of party representatives appending their signature, and we're told it was going to come in order as they appear on the ballot sheet, and they've done a number, so I'm sure in no time they will be done, and then the officials will be seated, because that was the only thing Mr. Tete said they needed to do for the returning officer, in this case, Mrs. Jean Mensah, to declare the results.
But I thought that, once he came to address us, they were ready to declare the results,
So you thought the signing should have been done in the background?
Of course, the signing should have been done in the background.
They wanted everything to be done transparently, for the whole country to see the process. Until this time round, we never knew all these were done in backdoor and behind closed doors or in camera. We never had camera going there and having live feed from the EC's National Coalition Center.
The cameras were there.
But we never had the live feed for the entire country to see what is happening. So no kululu here. You get it?
So the results have come from the polling stations?
No, from the regional...
from the polling stations, they go to the constituency level, and then they move them to the regional collation centers
before they come to the national collation centers. So, and with each process, they have to go through rigorous and arduous processes before they are able to transmit the results to another center within the chain of collation and
So even though the regional coalition arrangement helps for efficiency, I think it's the reason the process has delayed.
Yes.
So before that particular arrangement, they used to transfer the votes from the various constituencies directly to the strong room of the Electoral Commission.
Where, allegedly the manipulations take place. But in this, I must commend the EC this time around for making everything look so transparent to the entire citizenry, to know the processes they go through, to probably appreciate why sometimes the results, the declaration of the final results delay, because they need to be diligent with their work to ensure that the figures are matching what was recorded from the grounds, from the polling stations.
There are some who have said that if the various political parties are able to collate the results in real time, the Electoral Commission, through digitalization, should be able to do so. But you should understand that for the political parties, they don't need any other person to endorse.
Yes.
And so once the results come in from
their
polling agents across the country, they're able to put them together. But for the Electoral Commission, they would have to get both political parties, in fact, representatives of all the political parties to sign. And once one political party is not okay with something, they don't sign. So that delays the process. Even though I feel that the results should have been declared
by now.
It's
still within the stipulated time the Constitution spells out. Gives room to the EC to declare the results already. So I don't see why it's just that I don't see why we are in a rush, because the 3 days is just about to elapse. It hasn't elapsed yet.
All right, so we see the EC chairperson, Madam Jean Mensah,
already seated,
taking her seat.
And other members of the commission as well.
Yes, so for sure, the declaration is on anytime soon.
Yes.
Right.
Good evening. You're welcome to the National Coalition Center for Presidential Elections. Shall we be on our feet for the national anthem? Thank you very much. Shall we have our seats? We would like to start this program with an opening prayer by Reverend Ikuya Ofori-Boateng.
Let us bow our heads and pray. Heavenly Father, you have said in your word that many are the plans of men, but it is the counsel of the Lord that will stand. We thank you, Lord, that you have spoken in our nation today. It is our prayer that as you have commanded us, that it is you that establishes leaders, that you will pour out your mercy and your grace on all of us as a nation, on our leaders. We thank you, Father, for this time where we declare what you have spoken. We ask, Lord, that your presence be with us. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of all our hearts be pleasing and acceptable to you. O Lord, you are our strength and you are our Redeemer. Amen.
I would like to acknowledge the presence of a few dignitaries. I'll start with the special representative of the Secretary General, UNOAS, Mr. Leonardo Santos Simao. We have with us the Deputy Head of Mission, ECOWAS delegation, led by His Excellency Babukar Blaise Jani. We also have with us in the National Coalition Center, the UN Representative Coordinator, Ghana, His Excellency Mr. Charles Abani. We have delegation from ECONEC. We also have with us the USA Ambassador. Accompanying the USA Ambassador is the British High Commissioner to Ghana. Now I'm coming home. Before I come home, we have delegation from the Commonwealth. Head of delegation, thank you very much. We have a team from the Association of African Elections Authorities here with us. We also acknowledge the presence of ECONEC delegation if they are here, as well as the EU reps here. Thank you very much. Now I'll come home. With us, we have directors and deputy directors from the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Can we see you? Can we see you and wave? Please be on your feet. Be on your feet for Ghanaians to applaud you for the wonderful work that you've done. Thank you. Now I go to the commission members. Here with us is Commission Member Professor Peter Apiahene. Also here at the high table, we have Commission Member Hajia Salima Sani Muhammad. The one who said the prayer is a commission member, and she is Reverend Ikuya Ofori-Boateng. Thank you. I'm told the EU ambassador to Ghana is also here. And the director of USAID is also here. I would like to introduce another commission member, Ms. Ajua Isiama Abrefa. And now I go to the executive commissioners. At the high table, we have Deputy Chair in charge of Corporate Service, Dr. Bosman Eric Asare. Deputy Chair in charge of Operations, Mr. Samuel Tete, is also here with us. And the Chairperson, the Returning Officer, Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, is here. In addition, I would like to acknowledge some few people here. Reps of the National Peace Council, representative of domestic observer groups. I can see Mr. Ayin here, the National Coordinator of CODIO, reps of other international observers, members of both local and international press and media houses. Shall we see your hands? The local and international press houses with us. And last but not the least, I would like to acknowledge the supporting staff, members of the security services, as well as the members of the ambulance services that were able to come on short call. Thank you very much for coming. And now, the reason why we are here. I have the singular honor to cede the podium or the mic to the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the Returning Officer for the presidential elections, Madame Jane Mensah.
Should I go to the podium? Let us go to the podium. A good evening to all of you, our distinguished guests. To God be all the glory. Great things he has done, and greater things he will do. We thank the good Lord for making it possible for us to witness this day. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 48 hours since the close of polls on Saturday, the 7th of December, 2024. The voters of Ghana have spoken. They have expressed their choice at the polls, and that choice will today be upheld by the Electoral Commission of Ghana. As a commission, we have fulfilled our vowed aspiration to imbibe transparency, accountability, inclusiveness, and responsiveness at the heart of all our operations. And I can confidently say that with the help of God, we have fulfilled these aspirations and the expectations of the citizenry. We have conducted elections that are credible, fair, transparent, and peaceful. Elections that have ensured that the will of the people as expressed at the polls. The elections that have guaranteed that every vote counts. As a country, we take pride in the fact that our electoral processes, initiated since 1992, uphold and guarantee the voter's choice. We take pride in the fact that the voter's choice, as expressed at the polls, is sacrosanct. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 4 years have been spent in injecting and infusing 4 key elements into every aspect of our work. And those elements are transparency, accountability, responsiveness, and inclusiveness. As such, we started the year poised and ready to conduct credible elections. We were conscious that elections were an event and not a process. This resolve led us to undertake several transformational decisions, including the re-exhibiting of the Provisional Voters Register for the first time in our history, when concerns were raised about its credibility, as well as opening up the IPAC meetings to the citizenry by allowing the live coverage of all IPAC meetings. Indeed, the decisions to re-exhibit the Provisional Voters Register to allow a further review by political parties and the citizenry, as well as the demystification of the IPAC meeting, has helped diffuse the tensions that were brewing around the Provisional Voters Register. Ultimately, those 2 decisions restored the confidence of the citizens in the Voters Register and cemented Ghana's peace. Again, in the spirit of responsiveness, when complaints were made about the 50 persons charged voters for the verification of their registration details online, the Commission waived the fee and allowed voters to verify their details at no cost. In line with our determination to ensure the credibility of the 2024 election, when the Commission received information of the leak of a single defaced ballot paper, the Commission acted swiftly and destroyed ballots for both Western and Eastern regions. This bold determination and this bold decision was based on our determination to uphold the integrity of the election at all costs. In less than 1 week, the Commission printed new ballot papers for both regions and went on to successfully hold the special voting 2 days ahead of the main election. As a Commission, our singular message to our teams at all levels has been clear. It is that our mandate is not to make anyone a president or a member of Parliament, but rather to conduct and undertake credible and transparent elections and electoral processes which uphold the voter's choice and lead to acceptable and peaceful electoral outcomes. Today, our resolve has paid off. We have conducted elections that are fair, elections that are free, elections that are credible, elections that are transparent, elections that are peaceful, and elections whose outcomes are acceptable by all. So transparent are our processes that any interested political party, media house, or citizen could collate with near precision the results of the election, attesting to the resilient and robust processes built over the years. And we witnessed this with the concession of the Vice President, even before the declaration of the results by the Electoral Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, the testimonies on election day also attest to the efficient, robust, and resilient processes we put in place. Many citizens testified to the seamless processes they witnessed at the polling stations. The average time spent at the polling station was around 5 minutes compared to several hours and several minutes prior to the 2020 election. Citizens also attested to the efficiency of the biometric voter devices, the biometric verification devices employed to ensure that every man has one vote. The system worked efficiently and ensured that the voter who registered was indeed the person who voted. We are confident that the 2024 election will further cement trust in our electoral processes and reduce the suspicions that typically characterize elections on the continent. At this juncture, I would like to thank all of you who journeyed with us to ensure the success of the 2024 election. To our staff, both permanent and temporary, we say, Ayiko, you have worked hard, put in long hours, plowed the field, and done the spade work at the risk of your own lives to bring us a successful outcome. Our hearts go out to our staff who were manhandled during this time. We wish you well, and we ask the good Lord to bless all of you. To our media partners who have journeyed with us and enabled us to bring the commission to the doorstep of every Ghanaian, we say thank you. To the Ghana Police Service and to our partner, the National Peace Council, we say Ayiko. We thank all of you, the good citizens of Ghana, who have believed in us and allowed us to serve you. To our dear families and friends who have journeyed with us every step of the way, we thank you for your support, your prayers, your encouragement, and your advice. We are conscious that we could not have achieved this success without the help of the Almighty God, our anchor, without whom we could have done nothing. We remain eternally grateful, and I say thank you, Jesus. To all our observers from the ECOWAS, from the African Union, from the ECONEC, from the Commonwealth Secretariat, from the West Africa Elders Forum, supported by the Good Luck Jonathan Foundation, from the National Peace Council, from CODEO, from the Association of African Election Authorities, from the European Center for Election Systems, from International IDEA, Frimpong Manso Institute, IDEG, and to electoral commissioners from election management bodies in Africa, namely Uganda, Gambia, Kenya, Liberia. We say thank you for your support. We wish you all Godspeed back home. As the returning officer for the presidential election and in fulfillment of my mandate as enshrined in law, I will now declare the outcome of the 2024 election. It is important to note that per Regulation 63.3 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, the winner of the presidential election must obtain at least 50% plus 1 at the polls to be declared the winner of the election. We have collated the presidential results from all 16 administrative regions, of which 267 of the 276 constituencies have been captured. We have not been able to receive results from 9 constituencies because our offices have been besieged by political party supporters, making it impossible to complete the collation process. That notwithstanding, presidential results from the 267 constituencies, including the newly created Guan constituency, clearly established the winner of the 2024 presidential election. Simply put, even if all the votes from the 9 constituencies were added to the candidate who placed second, it will not change the outcome of the election. It is important to note that the Commission will update the records on receipt of the presidential results from the 9 outstanding constituencies. Ladies and gentlemen, now to the results of the 2024 presidential election. And the results will be announced based on the positions of the presidential candidates on the ballot. Mahamudu Bawumia of the NPP obtained 4,657,304, being 41.61%. Daniel Augustus Latte Jr. of the GCPP obtained 16,673, being 0.15%. Christian Kwabena Andrews of the Ghana Union Movement obtained 16,461, being 0.15%. Kofi Apalu of the LPG obtained 5,219, being 0.09%. Mohamed Frimpong of the National Democratic Party obtained 4,413, being 0.04%. Nana Akosua Frimpong of the CPP obtained 23,397, being 0.21%. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC obtained 6 million. Let me take that again. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC obtained 6,328,397. And I'd like to repeat that. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC obtained 6,328,397, being 56.55%. Mr. Hassan Ayariga of the APC obtained 17,461, being 0.16%. Mr. Kofi Kranting, independent candidate, obtained 3,320, being 0.03%. Mr. George Chumberima Edu, independent candidate, obtained 3,091, being 0.02%. Nana Kwame Biediaku, independent candidate, obtained 84,478, being 0.05%. Mr. Alan Kojo Tremanting, independent candidate, obtained 31,202, being 0.28%. The total valid votes cast add up to 11,191,422. Total rejected votes 239,109. Total votes cast 11,430,531. It's important to mention that the total registered voters add up to 18,774,159. And the percentage voter turnout based on the 267 constituencies stands at 60.9%. 60.9% based on the 267 constituencies. And as I mentioned, this does not include the 9 constituencies whose results we are yet to receive. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned earlier, results from the 9 constituencies are still as outstanding. The 9 constituencies are Ewutu Senya East, in Sawam, Aduajiri, Akwetia, Suhum, Techimant South, Domi Kwabenya, Ablekuba North, Ahafo Ano North, and Damango. The total registered voters in all 9 constituencies add up to 947,116. In the event that all the valid voters from the 9 constituencies above voted for the candidate who placed second, the total number of votes he would garner would be 5,604,420, representing 46.17% of the total valid votes, which would have been 12,138,538. The inclusion of the outstanding constituencies would have given the leading candidate 52.13%, which is still greater than the 50% plus 1 required to be declared a winner. And so even with that scenario, he's clearly the winner of the 2024 election. In the light of the above, ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor as the returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election and the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana with a total percentage of 56.55%. Congratulations, sir. It is finished. Thank you very much. Slight issue with the percentage for Mr. Kofi Apalu. His percentage is zero. The percentage you obtained is 0.05%. And that of Mr. Nana Kwame Bediako is 0.75%. Nana Kwame Bediako 0.75%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair, the returning officer. Corrections made. We are going to run copies and then to be given to everybody, the media, so that they have the correct figures. They take the correct figures along. Thank you very much. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Adumwa Bosman. Thank you very much. At this point, you know the results. And would like to call to the podium Reverend Ekia Oforibuatin. She started with us and she must end with us. God started with us and God is ending with us. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry, those that we work with in the room all this 2.5 days. I'm sorry I failed to recognize and acknowledge you. Oh, please accept your apology. Please, shall we acknowledge the reps of the candidates, the political parties who work with us? They work so tirelessly through thick and thin, from polling station, constituency, regional coalition center, and they followed it up at the National Coalition Center. Please, God, we thank you. God bless you. God bless you. This is for God and country. More groups wanted to be acknowledged. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Abantu for Development, Septon, Yaga. The groups are many. The groups are many. Please wave me so that I can see you and acknowledge you. Yaga, yes. The Ghana Pentecostal Council, the Catholic Bishop Conference, the Catholic Secretariat, Diocese of Bishops, the Christian Council. I'm trying to recall those that we give accreditation to. Individual researchers, our media friends, Adum, Joy, TV3, Net2, Oman, XYZ, Power, all of you, online platforms. But we are going to provide them with an envelope to put them on so that exactly. Right. Please, this is the declaration of the results form endorsed by the reps of the parties and the candidates here, as well as the returning officer. A copy will be pasted at the head office of the Electoral Commission for your view, your photography. Again, copies will be given to the reps of the parties, the candidates, before they leave here. On this note, we'd like to thank you for coming and watching us live in the comfort of your homes. The media, GBC, Peace, Information Service, we'd like to thank all of you. I can't mention and leave it. We are tired, we want to go home. And Metro and Origin TV and radio, all the press houses, UTV, Adwa TV, Daily Graphic Times, Daily Guide, Atinka, Oyiripa. We thank you. Thank you. City and Channel 1, and GNA, of course. CACI, Daily Graphic. Oh my, Obonu, thank you. Thank you very much. On this note, I would like to, multimedia. Oh, thank you for coming. Shall we clap for ourselves?
All those still in the inner perimeter, please come out. All those still in the inner perimeter, those standing behind the national chairman, please come out. All those standing behind the national chairman, please come out.